Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the National Community College Foundation. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Community Relations at Jovia Financial Credit Union, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, CEO, keeper of the brand, marketing, and digital agency. And we're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship.
We bring you weekly business advice, tips, tools, and services that help you grow your business. Plus, we interview the top business leaders in the industry.
Now, with everything going on, we've been hearing from different points of view for business owners during COVID and what's going on. And I'm very excited because today, helping provide us with business empowerment is a returning guest, real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around good guy, Charles Weinraub, A.K.A. the Handsome Homebuyer. So, Handsome, welcome to the show.
Great to be back. Great to see you guys. Thank you again for the opportunity. It's always a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, cool. Groovy.
Yeah, very glad to have you back. Now, for those who may not have heard, those few people who haven't heard the last episode, let's just give them a little bit of background on you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So essentially what I am is I'm a real estate developer, fix and flip investor on Long Island, New York. I purchase anywhere from now 70 to 110 houses a year that I gut renovate and sell or rent or build new construction. Since our last episode, I'm sure we'll get into it, I finished a master's degree at NYU in real estate development. So now I'm doing very large-scale commercial development on Long Island, from assisted living to affordable housing to self-storage. The sky's the limit. So I was recently featured in Newsday as Long Island's top real estate investor, doing over 300 houses in the last 5 years. So a lot's gone on since we've last spoke.
Congratulations. That's great stuff.
Thank you, sir.
But you failed to mention that you have a whole new marketing campaign, so I can't wait to jump into that. I love the TV commercial, the digital commercial.
Nice. Yes. Should we go into that now, or we're?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely.
So the last couple of years, the market's been difficult. The last couple of years for people like me, it's been really, really hot, and there's been a lot of competition. So for the last 18 months, it's been very difficult for someone like myself to buy a lot of products. So I kind of sat back, did less volume, used my relationships. And then recently with the whole COVID thing, a lot of people lost their access to capital because a lot of the private money lenders went out of business, or at least on hold. They lost their credit lines. So for me, it's like when everybody's running from the fire, I think it's important to run into the fire. So by running into the fire, that means more marketing, scaling up, more staff, doing more houses. And part of that was the TV commercial where I'm running around saying I want to buy the ugliest and nastiest houses on Long Island. And there's more to come for sure.
Absolutely. So your commercial is just super cool because you are the opposite of everyone. So you show for our listeners out there who haven't seen it, you show like a nice pristine, new construction home. And then you also show the total opposite, some rehab dump. And that's the one you love. So yeah. I just love the fact that, you want to jump right into the real estate market, and whether it's a fixer upper or that's what pushes your buttons.
Yeah, that's what gets me going, ironically. If the normal person walks into a house and the hair on the back of their neck stands up, that's what gets me going. So mold, cat pee, broken windows, I mean, you name it, the worse they are, the nastier they are. Old gas stations with toxic waste in the ground, like you name it, the nastier it is, I want to buy it. It's that simple.
Now, what attracts you to that, and what do you do with it?
So, I mean, I come from a very creative family. I myself am not artistic, but I have a sister that was a photography major with a glass blowing minor. She can blow stuff out of glass. My other sister is a fine artist and a copywriter in advertising. I like building, designing, and doing creative deal structures. So I look at an area, I look at a nasty property, and I say, I'm not looking at what it looks like now. I'm looking at what it's going to become when we're done. And that to me is the charge of doing what I do. It's like, how can I take this, rundown gas station that has tanks that are leaking in the ground and turn it into a modern office building or a Starbucks or a 7-Eleven or an affordable housing unit or something like that.
Gotcha. Now, I mean, you touched on it a little bit there, but what is it that you're seeing now that's very different from what things were like pre-COVID?
So from like a retail standpoint in the real estate market, the only thing that I really see is going on is whatever was on its way out, COVID kind of accelerated the process. So I think it's no secret to anybody who's listening that retail was obviously not doing very, very well. And obviously retail's really not doing well now. The office market was never a very strong asset class. Now office is, not doing really well at all. Luxury homes on Long Island with high property taxes were not selling very well. Now they're really not selling well. But anything in that first-time home buyer market, so in Nassau County, let's call that 550 or less, and Suffolk County 450 or less, is flying off the shelves. Like I was selling houses in the middle of the pandemic off of video tours off my iPhone.
Wow.
It never stopped. I would argue it's getting crazier because now you have people that lived in the boroughs that don't want any part of the boroughs. They're moving out. They're moving northern Jersey and Westchester. They're leaving the state. They're coming to Long Island. They're going to the Hamptons. I mean, the Hamptons is absolutely on fire. So a lot of people get upset when these things happen. For me, change is a good thing. If you're a person that embraces change, a lot of opportunity comes from situations like this.
No,
absolutely.
And you see a lot of change right now. I mean, and what's ironic is you had the ability to deal with COVID and still graduate from NYU with a master's. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
That was an absolute life-changing experience. Education is so important, and you're hearing that from a kid who tried to leave back, and I barely got out of high school. I was a pretty big disciplinary problem back in the day, but I remember years ago, you remember the band Coldplay? They're still around. So I remember when I was like 15, Coldplay sold more albums than anybody else, and then they were talking about how Coldplay got voice lessons. And they were saying how funny it was that the top band in the world went to get voice lessons after being the top band in the world. So I think it was 97 houses 2 years ago. And as soon as I did that, I said to myself, you know what? Everything has a life expectancy and the world's always changing. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go to NYU with the best of the best in the country. And I'm going to learn commercial development so that I can be as diverse as possible. Because for me, this whole business is more about the action and what can I do than it is about, the financial reward of it. So that was absolutely life-changing for me. I got to study with the best of the best professors in the country, from hedge fund owners to attorneys to monster developers. My classmates were the offspring of multi-generational, very, very wealthy real estate developers that control, properties all over the world, from Chinese billionaire developers to big New York City. Silverstein's grandson was in one of my classes. His grandfather obviously owns the World Trade Center. I mean, this is the caliber of people that you're learning from and working alongside, and it just took me to a completely different level.
What sort of challenges are you seeing? Because jumping into the fire other people are going the other way, so less competition, I would think, but certainly there are challenges. So can you tell us a little bit about that? I
mean, everybody's business has challenges at every time. It just depends on what's going on. Like when you're scaling, you have, in the investment business, there's kind of like three tiers. There's the infrastructure to get deals done, there's raising of capital, and then there's deal flow. And none of them are ever even. So it's like, all right, you're working really hard to get more deal flow. Now you have all these deals and you're like, oh my God, where am I going to raise this money? So now you're running around trying to raise money so that you can actually take down the deals. And then you're like, oh great, it's nice that we bought these, but how are we going to get them built, renovated, sold, rented, whatever it is? So now you're ramping up your infrastructure. So it's this never-ending seesaw battle of madness. But you have to like that. Like you have to like the action. For me, if things are calm, I'm concerned. I'm like, why is it so calm? I need to be functioning in a world of like controlled chaos all the time.
I love it. You are listening to Tara Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, and our guest today is Charles Weinraub, A.K.A. the Handsome Homebuyer. So what are you seeing as far as like a focus for yourself now? I know you have the controlled chaos, but are you looking at, given what's going on in the market, are you looking at more multifamily houses? Are you looking at what is it that seems to be the hottest area to focus on?
Okay. So the asset classes that I prefer and have preferred for some time, even pre-COVID, COVID didn't really affect this at all, was I like anything housing in the first-time home buyer market, like we just discussed.
Right.
I like anything senior. Obviously, Long Island especially is an aging demographic. Within the next 20 years, we're going to have 25% of the population that's 65 and older, which is massive. Anything in the medical space, anything in self-storage, because when times are good, people buy too much stuff and they need a place to store their old stuff. And when times are bad and they have to move, they need a place to store their stuff. So self-storage is a very hot asset class. And anything affordable. I do a tremendous amount of residential rentals with different programs like the Veterans, CDC, Section 8, et cetera. Affordable housing on Long Island, I mean, across the country, but especially Long Island, is such a massive, massive problem that it's a very low risk, very powerful, and also very rewarding asset class to invest in.
You remind me of, you talked about Coldplay. So a lot of my favorite musicians are musicians who they didn't really learn a traditional way. You know, they picked up an instrument and they played it by sound and they figured it out. And then it wasn't until after, you know, that they went back and got, you know, proper training. And some of them didn't even do it. You know, some of them just kept doing what was working. What kind of advice would you give someone who is, you know, looking at things? Because obviously this is a transitional time for a lot of folks. What would you give it? You know, what kind of advice would you give to people who are looking at real estate and going, well, how can I be involved?
So real estate is the most amazing thing in the world. It's changed my life and allowed me to live the life that I want. And I think if you have a dream to be in real estate, you should do it. There's just a way to do it. The unfortunate reality is we live in an instant gratification society when people just want it tomorrow. Right. And it's a process. So what I tell people when they come up to me and they say, Charles, I want to be like you. I want to do what you do. How do I do it? Is you have to get the education. And there's a lot of different places to get the education and prepare. There's these things called RIAs, Real Estate Investment Associations, REIAs. They have them across the country. They have them on Long Island. That's where I met my first mentor. They have college programs. I mean, YouTube videos, mentorships, all coaches, all kinds of things. But you really have to, like, I studied and trained for 3 to 4 years before I ever did a real estate deal. And now my life has changed. So I think people have to understand that with proper education and time, you can have any life you want, but you have to be committed to the process of getting educated.
Now, are you also seeing, I know you deal with a lot with first-time home buyers, but are you also seeing, you know, people buying investment property, whether it's normal times and people now like picking some things up because of COVID or low interest rates?
People are. I mean, it was really, really hot before COVID. The biggest detriment to the market, which was that there was a lot of these institutional private money lenders. So Wall Street, when people would borrow money, they'd call it hard money. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, you would go to an attorney or somebody who would just lend money at a very high interest rate, so you could buy these properties that weren't mortgageable, like I purchased. About 10 years ago, Wall Street got involved, and now they have these institutions that are lending, and they're packaging them up and selling them on Wall Street. And that was a big issue because it allowed people that didn't have experience to come in and get cheap money, overpay for property, and ultimately, unfortunately, get themselves in trouble. What happened when COVID hit was there was no secondary market to sell that paper. So those institutional lenders temporarily went out of business. So now the pool of qualified investors with access to private money to buy is very small. So for me, it's like Hanukkah, Christmas, everything rolled into one. I'm trying to buy everything I can because ultimately everything cycles in life. You know, today's my opportunity. In 24 to 36 months, we'll be right back into that chaos of overinflated market. So you have to get on it when you can.
Absolutely. Now, what are some of the common misconceptions about your business that you want to share with the audience?
I guess common misconceptions, things that I've heard for the most part, are people feel that investors do shoddy work, that they're just interested in the dollar. There are certain investors that do, but there are a lot of investors like us who do gut renovations, everything new, top to bottom. And you really need a qualified home inspector when buying any house. Don't ever skimp on that. It's crazy that people say, oh, it's renovated. I'm not going to waste $500 on a home inspector when they're buying a $450,000 house. Always have a qualified home inspector. And I think when we're speaking sometimes to people that are selling us their properties, they feel that we're just throwing out a low ball offer. But what a lot of people don't realize unless you're involved in real estate investing is there's a tremendous amount of transactional costs that go into buying, selling, holding, and renovating a property. And renovating a property properly is very expensive also. So people think that we're coming in at very low numbers. In actuality, the profits are nowhere near what people think they are. There's just a lot of expenses.
So we hear you have a podcast. You're handsome enough for TV. Radio is not for those people who are just has a face for radio, but we know you're handsome. So podcast, future TV show, tell us about it all.
I just love the action. So yeah, I have a podcast, which I've been doing for the last few years. I love it. I highlight interesting people from the city, Long Island, wherever, and we just talk about real estate and everything. It's the Handsome Homebuyer podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. We're always trying to push to the next level. Now we got the TV commercials. I was recently, Z100, ironically that you say that, is searching for the next fix and flip TV show. And my little mother texted me at like 7:30 in the morning, you should apply.
I love it.
So I applied and I'm into the third round.
Of course.
So we'll see what happens. I always kind of wanted to be a one-hit wonder rock star. So I wanted to be famous for like a minute so I can feel it, maybe make some money, and then be a normal person and go get pizza without being mobbed. So this could be my moment. I don't know. But I'm just always looking for the next level, the next challenge.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. You got everything lined up right. Now, what type of partners do you look for in the work that you do? What are the people that you like bumping into and like getting to know?
As far as people that I end up working with in some capacity?
Correct.
I work with a tremendous amount of realtors. I've been blessed to know thousands of realtors, attorneys who refer me deals, and we take care of each other. So I always like to meet more of those people. I do a tremendous amount of free education online and in person. So I'm just, into giving back, meeting anybody who's just a genuinely good person who's looking to learn about real estate or looking to sell properties or whatever that might be. I just think together we can get a lot further. So I'm always interested in meeting pretty much anybody and everybody. But I do a lot of business with real estate professionals like attorneys and agents.
And positivity brings positivity.
Always.
You've done a lot of work, a lot of philanthropic work as well. Could you talk about some of that with us?
Yes. So recently I was nominated to run for Man of the Year for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which is a very cool honor. And I put together an amazing group of 20 professionals that were going to help me in my quest to do this. And essentially there was 20 people in this. I think it was 22. It was the largest class ever, 11 men and 11 women. And whoever raises the most money becomes Man and Woman of the Year. So we had a goal to raise $500,000, and we started selling tickets for a live real estate investment seminar of the top 9 real estate investors in Long Island at the Tillis Center. It was going to be 2,250 people. We were going to sell 2,000 tickets and give away 250 seats to high school and college kids. And we sold 500-something seats in the first week, and then COVID hit. So that obviously derailed everything. So what we did was we moved it up and we ended up doing a live Zoom like this event, 9-hour invest-a-thon. It was given away for free, but people could donate whatever they wanted to if they saw value and they had the ability to donate during this time. And we raised over $60,000 on the webinar, which was very, very cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible.
Difficult. They're difficult. They're either hit or miss, especially during COVID.
Yeah, this was April 19th, like right in the middle of like the apex of everything that was going on. I just felt like, you know what, people needed a distraction at that point. They were tired of hearing about COVID and they just needed something positive. So that's what we did. And I think we were rewarded for that.
You're listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Charles Weinraub, A.K.A. the Handsome Homebuyer. My name is Donyshia Boston-Hill, along with Ray Schwetz on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
So I feel like we've already talked about a lot of accomplishments. If you had to look back, and I mean, looking forward, you got a lot on the horizon. So, who knows what's coming. Very excited for you. Looking back, what would you say is some of your proudest accomplishments?
Oof, no one's actually ever asked me that. That's interesting. Basically, so I've been a full-time investor for 5.5 years. And when I first started this quest, maybe 7 years ago, when I said I'm going to flip a house, everybody said, "Kid, you're nuts. You can't do it. It's physically impossible." And then I did it. And then we became the biggest fix and flip operation on Long Island. And then I'm like, I'm going to go back to school. And people are like, "You're not going to have enough time. What are you going to do? Like, you don't belong there. You're too old," whatever it is. There's always the naysayers and everything. And then I went, and it ultimately changed my life. And I graduated a few weeks back. And, obviously the charity work that we've been doing, and I'm just putting out a lot of free education, and I'm helping a lot of people who want to be in real estate. Because most people in my position with the knowledge, they don't want to share it. They feel like if you share it, you'll have competition and you won't have any more business, which is kind of the opposite is what happens. So the thing that I'm really most proud of is the constant feedback I get from people who say, "Hey, listen, you've put me on the road to changing my life. I hated my business, and now I'm in real estate, and now, I can afford to send my kids to school, or now I'm training with your old mentor." That's the kind of that's what I'm most proud of right now.
That's pretty incredible. Like I said, positivity breeds positivity, and the collaboration, sharing that knowledge, it just lifts everybody up. So that said, I mean, if you had to leave our audience with one thing, I know I'm getting tougher and tougher on you. But if you had to leave our audience with one thing, one thought, just, what would that be?
I want everybody to dream. I don't want you to be realistic. I want you to be unrealistic. If there's something that you can dream up, I want you to go for it. I want you to understand that no one's going to believe in you, however, and it's going to be difficult. Success is not easy. Nobody wakes up a millionaire. Nobody wakes up loving their life every day. It's a process that you have to be addicted to the process, not the outcome. And make sure to get there, you get the education and you study the course. And I promise you, if you work hard, you will get anything you want.
Are you kidding? Everyone thinks you're an overnight success.
Of course, the 10-year overnight success. Everybody knows that. All three of us, right?
Well, it's the journey. As you said, it's the journey, not the destination.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's great stuff. All right. And where's the best place? I mean, obviously you have your podcasts and other media. Where's the best place that people can find you?
So I'm everywhere. I try to make myself as accessible as possible. On Instagram, it's handsome_homebuyer. Handsome Homebuyer on Facebook. My name is obviously Charles Weinraub. You can find me on LinkedIn, YouTube. I've actually just got TikTok. I'm trying to figure that out, how I can do little dances and stuff. But pretty much anywhere and everywhere I try to be. So just Google me and I'll pop up. And you're always welcome to reach out to me in some capacity with any question regarding real estate. And I'm happy to help everybody.
Awesome. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, you got it all.
Yes.
I can't wait to see your TikToks because I can just imagine you like a sledgehammer and like the repeat. And then the next scene, it'll be like some amazing rehab house. Like ladies and gentlemen, I just cannot wait. You're in for a treat. And plus, you get to actually not only listen to him, but you get to see him as well.
Yes. I've been brushing up on my salsa moves. Little Latin flavor on TikTok is coming. Just wait and see.
Absolutely. It's so funny because you mentioned Coldplay and everyone starts off in their garage at their kitchen table. That's the life of an entrepreneur. And then you move, you go from the garage band to multimillionaire. So
yeah, it's not fun if somebody gives it to you. You have to go through the struggle or it's not rewarding.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't realize that, you got to go through the blood, sweat, and tears in order to come out on the other side. Right.
100%.
And have a great time.
Yes, of course.
I want to leave everyone with DB's philosophy and before we exit here. So no matter what story you tell, make your buyer the hero. Similar to our handsome home buyer. He's a hero in the community. He's a hero all over social media. Well,
yeah. Thank you very much for being with us.
Charles, thank you very much for having me. That was great, guys. It was great to see you. Best of luck. Happy year. Happy health. Stay healthy, and hope to see you both soon.
Same here. Same here. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, your co-host and producers. This is an NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available on iHeartRadio as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We'll talk with you next week.